Hey friend, you know what, the big bad black sheep, hot to fire, not a pretender or liar, and it's one more reasoning, yeah? Now, I hope that you will. I wish you will. Yeah. Thank you to the new followers for your likes, for your comments. Yeah. It is deeply appreciated. So yeah, welcome to my platform. This is Woman Code 2.2, where we have open-minded conversations, the uncomfortable conversations. So yeah, today's topic is about womb envy, and I've spoken about envy amongst women, misogyny amongst women, and I've mentioned penis envy. So this is womb envy. So tune in, right? Tune in. Now, this topic is often overlooked or seen as dramatic, yeah. And when women speak about their experience with misogyny, they are deemed as crazy, or angry, or they need to heal, and never really looking at the source of all of those reactions, right? Now, I've seen so many puppets around parading, about Rastafari. And let me tell you this. If these people were all morally good, and this is for you to think right now, if these people were all morally correct people, why is that their children, when they grow up in this organization, when they grow up, they either remove themselves from the organization, or they become mentally ill. Yes, mentally ill. And I remember this one sister called Nzinga King, right, where this incident happened, where she got caught up with the police officers, right? With some police officer, and they end up taking her to jail for a couple days. And it was said that one of the female officers cut her hair. But I say this to say, they had, what you call it now? Was it a parade? They kept like this, and I was there too, it was at the Mandela Park in Tree. They kept this, I don't know if it was a fundraiser, but Chronixx showed up, one moment, right? And he said some good pointers, but the level of disrespect that he faced that day, from the people of Rastafari. And you would think that these people are literate, literate people. They're high vibrational beings. And if we can't speak about certain issues, how we are going to really, in a stand, how to really deal with it, right? And to know what the issue really is. But after all of that, there wasn't much support. And her parents are in Rastafari. And for those things to happen to her, because she even, and I'm not saying this to even bash her, but it was alleged that she was gang raped and she got pregnant and lost the child. But in a case like that, why aren't you people protecting your offsprings, right? Why is that your offsprings don't want to worship the God you worship? And this is a universal problem. Because even the incident with even Miss Watson, her parents are in Rastafari. And the level of mental instability that I've witnessed amongst this individual, right? It is linked deeper to some very, traumatic situation that has happened, I say. You see? But they like to portray themselves as morally upright people, but the results, it is evident that, it is not so. Because if your children end up leaving and they struggle with their mental health, yeah? But in Nzinga case, her father, right, and when I used to be with Anti-Natural, they talk about gossiping, but nobody gossips like men. But anyway, he said to me that at Nyabinghi, we were at Nyabinghi, and he was grouped up with other men and Nzinga's father, and he stated that this man was bragging about how he used to walk around with, a weapon, a gun, and he would use it to dominate women and to rape them, right? So I wouldn't want to say it's karma that his child went through, but these people are not protecting their offsprings. Yeah? And they want to judge, they want to talk about other people's lives while their villages are on fire. Yeah? Fire. Because these men, they want to portray themselves as, Christ-like. And say they get a child that is a male, they would rather have those children, male children, on the out front, And when what I've witnessed even with Nyabinghi, that they disregard the women, right? Because they don't even allow them to even beat drums. They don't want them to cook. They see them as unclean, especially when they're on their periods. Now, you follow Haile Selassie, which you claim to say that crowned Empress Menen beside him, but yet still, in my witness and in other people's witness as well, they dehumanize women and see them as the lesser counterpart. Yeah. And if I and others should talk about this, we are seen as problematic. And what I have went through with anti-natural, yeah, is no joke. Because at one point I had him as my management, right? And I realized that he's sabotaging me more than he's helping me. Yeah. And the little help that he do give, he tries to dangle that over my head, right? Now, a lot of people or artists in Rastafari, you know, are in the music business, and you have so many talented women in the business that they foreshadow them, but they were more likely to push the male artists more than the females. And I notice it. I don't want to be a part of it, you know. I rather have my independence. But yeah, let's get into the topic. So, womb envy. What is womb envy? Womb envy is a psychoanalytic concept proposing that some men experience unconscious jealousy, anxiety, and feelings of inadequacy regarding a woman's unique biological capacity to intuition, sage wisdom, to conceive, create, and sustain life. This was stated back in 1926. So yeah, there are so many smart and intelligent women in Rastafari, but they are so anchored by the men of Rastafari. And let me mind you this, when I step out and I started to wear my normal clothes again, and to even explore, you know, with my style, and around that time I was shaking some environments. I still went to some places, but you know, I realized the energy and just shift. But even then, I've seen how kinky and lustful a lot of them are in locks that call themselves Rastaman. And let me mind you, they are not attracted to Rasta women, because even after a while, these women start, you know, to be around these men for too long. They start to lose their energy, their life force energy, and it depletes their beauty, of course, you know. But yeah, I've seen them send so many people my way, you know, they feel like I don't notice. I know I see them as zombies, vampires, and leprechauns. But anyway, it is all an agenda. It is all, I would say, the drama between, the drama amongst these people. It is all a distraction, for what is really happening amongst these people. Because I remember one empress, when I was around amongst them. And her parents grew up in Rastafari. But this empress tell me, say, cause when she look disassociated, for one. And this is no joke. Yeah? She look disassociated. She just look numb. And she said to me, she feel like she need therapy, because so much has happened. And this is a Rasta woman I'm telling you about. So much things. And these people don't support them one another truly. Unless they are part of a specific clique. Because they talk about burning Babylon, but them not do it from within themselves. You have to deconstruct yourself before you can even talk about anybody else. And they still have the same carnal mindset then, right? And at the time I was going through my own situation with anti-natural, yeah? Because he never wanted to do music. But when, I wouldn't say he never wants, he wants to, but if something is not for you, it's just not for you, Because I noticed that I have this one song I have that, it's called Gather Round, Food of Share. And the levels I've witnessed this man went to sabotage me just so he can own that song and use that song for his own purpose, right? I've said it to others and they just brush me off, And I've said it to women too. But these women are a part of that organization. They are not strong enough to stand 10 toes down on their own and to not deal with these types of people. And that's them, that's fine. But the levels of attacks that I have dealt with, I wouldn't wish it on nobody. So yeah, it suggests this unconscious envy drives men to overcompensate through societal dominance, institutional control, and creative or professional achievements. Now, I've said these men don't even want a woman to beat the drum. And I've witnessed, a Rasta man of another Rasta clan. Because I tell you, it's all about clan. They all deal with clan. They group up with people who want to follow a specific person, and they just do the most bottom of the barrel shit in this world, because all them do are really gossip and tear down people, Yeah, but I've witnessed this man and even others when I think the Queen of England grandchildren came, and one of the rest of man them take the drum and give the female, you see, to beat. No, they won't do that, because even I witnessed that same Rastaman disregard the incident with Nzinga King and say that she's crazy. She's the one that cut her locks and blaming the police woman, right? So there is a sense of bias there as well. The last Nyabinghi I went to, there was so much drama there, and people always are worried about homosexuals, right? And I am an openly queer woman, but I live a simple life, right? And what I've seen amongst these people, I've made the choice that I should just separate myself and just live my own life. Because every turn you turn, there is a conflict with a man and a woman, right? And I'm not saying that these women are all innocent, but these men go outright out of them way just to provoke these women and get a reaction. So they're feeding off of their energy and they don't even know this, right? Back in 2023, between 2022 and 2023, this incident happened with this empress at 14 Mile Bobo Hill, yeah, where she was murdered and raped. Now, she's like the only female there, and there's more males, like there's a lot of males there. She's the only female, and to be surrounded by so many men and that still happened to her, right? It just shows the level of consideration they have towards women. And this incident is overlooked. Yeah. And the funny thing is, these people have group chats, and you would think it's towards progression, but it's really to bully and to stalk and to cyberbully people, you know. And to mention gossiping again, You have this one place where they call House of Rasses. When I tell you, say, all these men group up and tear down people, especially those that they deem, you know, have more than them or have something that they want. And I remember when this was like a year after I left, I saw this elder Rasta where, you know, him hang out there. And he was just telling me how it's just pure chaos, you know. Even one of the men there were urinating in one of the pots that they cook food in. But my question really, again, is like, if these people are so morally correct, why people are losing their mind in this organization? Why the children leave? Why the children so angry and so traumatized? Yeah? But I have some pointers. I'm probably going to part 2. But yeah. Womb envy. Womb envy can look like silent sabotage. A man having hidden intentions while offering help or security may look harmless, but in secret, he is seeking leverage to dismantle your whole being covertly or slowly. His every action will be calculated to look like a mistake or misunderstanding while you slowly lose your independence or everything.
28 days, 15 minutes a day. Started 3 months ago.
No. When I notice, you know, because I pay attention to myself. Being around anti-natural was making me sick. It was making me lose me, you know. And he was purposely chipping away at my whole being. Now, I'm starting to realize that maybe some men meant to date other men, you know. Because really and truly, they don't like women. And it's not every man gene that should be passed, you know. So, in a case like that, they should just be by themselves or be with other men. Yeah. Cause the levels of hate I see, the level of deception this man came with to make it seem like, you know, he's morally upright. I remember one time, because you don't need to encourage others to convince me that you're a good person. Yeah. And a lot of people like to go around and do that. And in one case, he brought me, like we were going somewhere and we were just driving around in his neighborhood, and he brought me to this house that he said he was going to drop something off. Check it out. It was a long-time partner, he claims. So he said to the female that she should tell me how much of a catch he is and how much a prize he is. So she's like, why would I have to tell her that? She can't see that for herself. I'm like, Yeah, right? But it's the deep level of insecurity that, you know, he walks around with. That's why, you know, like, if I should talk about these things, man, I'm telling you, it would seem like I'm being dramatic, but people not living in their truth will breed mental illness, for sure. Yeah. Because everybody can't be one way. And they will say that homosexuals are trying to push, you know, their sexuality on others, but this society push heterosexual relationship more than anything, right? And they talk about children. They want to shorten the birth rate, like they give a fuck about children. The ones that are already here, look how we really treat them, you know? And most of these men, when you see them, you never really see them with a empress. You know, you never see them with an empress. But yet still, they follow Haile Selassie teaching. And some will say Jah, but the last time I checked, Andrew Holness' wife used Jah as abbreviation for her name. So who are you really praising? And a lot of them like to say, you know, how Jesus now go save nobody and ray. And I've seen hear this talk a lot amongst them, but neither is Haile Selassie. Him not come save none of them. Him not go fix none of the troubles we put on yourself, you know. Cause a lot of y'all people feel to see on yourself and to see the men that you support. Yeah. But let's get into the other pointer for maybe a chapter 2 to part 2. Maybe. So yeah. The misogyny and womb envy in men is not always something most would boldly express, but they will show how they truly feel through micro expressions like sudden shift of disinterest, combativeness, competitiveness, insults, control, manipulation, triangulation, and the list goes on. Now, if I wasn't smart enough, anti-natural would have turned me against everybody in my family. These men will say anything to isolate you, just to have them way. And don't think it's out of love. Yeah? Because you can't want to be the center of a person's world.
Immigration is an important part
Like-
of the government of Canada's plan to keep our economy growing. If it weren't for immigrants,
There is many aspects to life that should make up our life, you know?
You know something?
Yeah.
Who's dead, you know?
Yeah.
Over Anika, over Anika them, over where they used to live.
I soon come talk to you. Oh yeah. When I met Anti-Natural, he said he was 39 going on to 40. And 2 years after that, I remember we went to this business convention and he was filling out a form. And on that form it asks for age, and he was still putting that age on it. So I then realized who the fuck I'm dealing with, you know. The level a devil me a deal with. Yeah. When I used to, because he even told me this lie that he has this daughter that he doesn't know because the mother left and didn't tell him anything about it, which is a lie. He abandoned his own child, his daughter. Now, when I used to get haircuts, one Father's Day weekend, you know, I was at the barber, and this other Empress did here too, and she was there to get her eyebrows done. But anyway, the barber was there with another male client, and we were just talking about fathers, and he was saying how he was doing so much for his daughter, the barber saying that, you know, and all of that. But I noticed that his voice is very high in key, and when that happens, when a person voice gets so high, you know they're telling a lie. But yeah, we were talking and all of that, but we were talking about how some fathers stay, you know, and I was like, yeah, some of them father deal with them daughter fuck up because them can't fuck them, you know. Yeah. And I've talked about the, you know, the emotional incest amongst, you know, mothers and sons, but it also happens a lot amongst fathers and daughters. Yeah. And I've experienced it with my father, because back in February, like, you know, the 27th of February, you know, it's been like 2 years since I talked to him. I just don't deal with him. And he called my mother's phone, and, you know, we end up conversing. And I was letting him know my boundaries, like, you know, you show me who you is, so I just accept that, you know, and I just want to move on with my life. I just want you to just leave me alone. But it end up that we start get heated, because let me tell you, this man is a child, and he doesn't like his mother. I know that for sure, you know. He doesn't like women, and it's possible he's down low as well, because the level of disrespect and disregard for my feelings this man showed me that day, you know, I did have to tell him off. But he went on to say that, oh, I'm not a real woman because I can't come up with any ideas. I'm like, oh, that even make any fucking sense? I'm like, you would even know a real woman if she sit down in front of your face. But that was my argument. But yeah, it is not just amongst, misogyny is not just amongst men that we date, you know, but the ones in our family, like our fathers, our uncles, brothers, cousins. Yeah, it go deep. It don't matter the relativity, you know. you have towards them is just how they feel and how they think, right? But this is 40 minutes in, so I'm gonna elaborate more in part 2. Yeah, so take care.